They say legends are made from the stories people can't explain. But today, I'm going to tell you my story. The story of a man they call D.B. Cooper. It was November 24th, 1971. A chilly Thanksgiving Eve. I walked into Portland International Airport wearing a black suit, a white shirt, a thin black tie, and sunglasses. I looked like any other businessman, but inside, I carried something far more dangerous. I approached the counter and purchased a one-way ticket for just $20. Flight 305 to Seattle, a short 30-minute flight, nothing out of the ordinary. I gave the name Dan Cooper, not realizing the media would later misname me as D.B. Cooper. As I boarded the Boeing 727, I scanned the cabin. There were 36 passengers and a handful of crew members. Ordinary people, none of them knowing what was about to unfold. I took a seat in the rear of the plane, 18C. I wanted to stay close to the aft stairway. That would be my exit. The flight took off at 2:50 p.m., and as we climbed into the skies, I felt my pulse steady. It was time. I leaned toward the flight attendant, a young woman named Florence Schaffner, and handed her a note. She smiled politely. She tucked it into her pocket without reading it, but I couldn't wait. I whispered to her, "Miss, you might want to read that note. I have a bomb." Her face went pale. She unfolded the paper and read my demands. $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck ready in Seattle. I opened my briefcase just enough to show her the wires and dynamite. She didn't need convincing. The crew quickly informed the authorities and the pilots followed my instructions. I had no intention of hurting anyone, and they seemed to understand that. We circled above Seattle for 2 hours while the ransom money and parachutes were gathered. The passengers had no idea what was happening. They were told there was a mechanical delay. I sat there, sipping a bourbon and soda, cool as ice. At 5:39 p.m. we landed in Seattle. The cabin was dark, the tension thick. I allowed the passengers to leave. I wasn't after them. This was between me and the system. The authorities delivered the money, bundles of $20 bills, all marked but untraceable, and the parachutes. I inspected them carefully. Everything was in place. We took off once more, headed south toward Mexico City, but I had other plans. I gave the pilots strict instructions: fly at an altitude of 10,000 feet, maintain a speed of 170 knots, keep the landing gear down, and don't pressurize the cabin. I stayed in the back of the plane, securing the money and strapping on one of the parachutes. The flight attendants were scared but cooperative. I reassured them no one would get hurt if they did exactly as I said. At 8 p.m., somewhere over the dense forests of Washington state, I opened the aft stairway. The roar of the wind filled the cabin, and the freezing air bit at my face. I looked down into the black abyss below. No lights, no civilization, just endless trees and the unknown. What do you think was going through my mind at that moment? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm curious to see your theories. This was it, the moment I had planned for. With the ransom money strapped to my body and the parachute securely fastened, I stepped onto the edge. The crew couldn't see me, they were locked in the cockpit. And then, I jumped. The cold air hit me like a hammer as I plummeted into the darkness. The sound of the plane faded away, replaced by the deafening rush of the wind. My parachute deployed perfectly, slowing my descent. Imagine being there, just you, the cold wind and the vast unknown below. What would you have done in my place? Let me know in the comments. I landed somewhere in the wilderness, surrounded by nothing but trees and silence. I gathered the money and hid it carefully. The world would be looking for me now, but they wouldn't find me. If you've been enjoying this story so far, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more mysteries like this one. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you'll know when the next one is out. I vanished that night, leaving behind nothing but a trail of questions and a name that would haunt the FBI for decades. They searched for me relentlessly, combing through forests, rivers, and mountains. In 1980, a boy found some of the ransom money buried along the Columbia River. But me, I was long gone. Some say I died in the jump, that the wilderness swallowed me whole. Others believe I started a new life, far away, under a new identity. What's your theory? Did I survive and outsmart everyone, or did the jump end my story? Drop your theories below. I'd love to read them. That was Simple Mystery.